Good to meet you, bro. You're going to learn something today, James. All right, check this out. Get Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. You familiar with Moses at all? All right, Moses freed his people out of Egypt, went through the Red Sea, right, and was bringing his people to the promised land. The book of Deuteronomy is his last words to them. All right, so listen what he said. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So the book of Deuteronomy is the words that Moses spoke unto his people Israel. All right, now I get Deuteronomy chapter 28. He put conditions on them because they was learning the commandments. Right, and he put conditions on it. If you learn if you do the commandments, this will happen to you. If you don't do the commandments, this will happen to you. All right, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
But it shall come to pass,
right,
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
That means if you will not listen, if you will not hear the voice of the Lord thy God. Go ahead.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
To do what?
To do all his commandments.
Yeah, the condition. He said if you don't do all his commandments. Go ahead.
And his statutes,
mm-hmm,
which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So James, curses is judgments or punishments. He said if you don't do these commandments, it's going to be curses and judgments and punishments that's going to come upon you. Right, let's check some of these curses. Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 68.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Deuteronomy chapter 28
If you
verse
look on the
68.
front of that flyer, it's a visual, right? Did this happen to our people? What's that?
Chains.
It's chains. That's slavery, right? Right, and that's unique to us, right? We the people that went in on ships. Slavery is all over the place. But you look up slave ship right now, you're going to find our people.
Correct.
Right? Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again,
Right?
with ships.
And the Lord's going to bring you into Egypt again. You know what they were doing in Egypt? Let's find out what they was doing in Egypt, because the Bible explains itself. That's why it's not up to me to just give you an interpretation. The Bible tells you what it means by Egypt. Read.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Mhm.
out of the house of bondage.
What's Egypt?
The house of bondage.
James, you hear what the Bible is calling Egypt? What's house of bondage? What do you think that means?
I know.
What's bondage mean?
Tied up.
You seen Black Panther?
Yeah.
First one, right? Killmonger at the end, right? He was talking about his people on the ships. He said they buried me at sea because my people knew it was better to die than to serve in bondage.
Correct.
Right? Meaning what?
Be tied up in service of work.
Slavery.
Yeah.
Slavery. That's why our people was jumping off the ship. They said it's better to die than to go into bondage. Right? So now that we understand this, let's go back to these curses, these judgments for not keeping God's commandments. And this identifies us. It all ties together. Right? Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
What's Egypt mean, James?
Place of bondage.
Place of bondage. He's going to bring you into a place of bondage again?
With ships.
With ships. We went into a place of bondage with ships. Who else went into a place of bondage with ships, you know?
No.
That's unique to our people. That's unique to our people. Everybody can say, oh, at one time we was in bondage, but nobody went into bondage with ships
Correct.
but us. Right, read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
He's saying just the way I'm saying it, that's how it's going to happen. Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Where we from, James?
Georgia.
No, where we from?
Oh. Egypt.
We from Egypt? You sure?
No. It said it is. You got me confused.
No, all right, let's clarify. Egypt is slavery.
Correct.
Right? When Moses freed his people, he freed them from what? From Egypt. Let my people go. That was slavery. So God is now saying, if you don't keep my commandments, I'm going to send you back into Egypt, meaning bondage, but this time with ships. With ships. Our people went into slavery with ships. Right? That's a judgment or punishment for not keeping God's commandments. That's something that happened to us in history. Right? Finish reading that. Let's tie it together.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Our homeland, we not gonna see it no more. That's why I said, where we from? You said Georgia. Then I said, no, where we from? And you said Egypt, right? He said we not gonna see our homeland no more again. That's why it's confusion about our name, confusion about where we come from, and anybody can just throw a label on us because we don't know. Like we going around saying we black. The shirt's black. Is that the same complexion as your skin?
Not at all.
Right, Steph Curry is a black man, right? You understand? Do you see how foolish that is? That name is a curse. It shows that we don't know who we are. It shows that we still in bondage, right? Nobody else went around given a name by other people. We do. Read on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Once you got off them slave ships, you'll be sold unto your who?
unto your enemies.
Who was we sold to after we got off them ships, James? That's fact. That's historical fact. Ain't no hate in that. That's just what happened. The Bible said who we be sold to? Our enemies. Right? Read on.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen
Slave men.
and bondwomen.
And slave women too. The sisters was right there with us. In the fields, doing stuff in the house, just like we was too. Read on.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy us, but I thought we was gonna be sold. So what does it mean by nobody gonna buy us? That means nobody gonna free us. Today we still run around talking about we black, we're African American, right? Everything that we call ourselves but what God called us. Because these curses apply to one people. You know who Moses was talking to? The Israelites. The Israelites, right? That's a historical fact. This is a prophecy that came to pass, and that prophecy is now our history. He said it shall come to pass. If you will not hearken unto God's commandments, you're going to go into punishment. Now, us as a people, are we keeping God's commandments?
No.
Yeah, look, he's like, nah, hell no, that's impossible. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You can look around. I turn around in a circle, and none of us is doing it, right? So, do you think those curses have left us, those punishments? And we look on TV and we see where we live as a people, how we struggle as a people, the injustices that we have as a people, right? Those are results of curses. Get verse 29 real quick. I'm gonna show you, right? Because the ships is just the bam, right? But look at the details of it. This is more of the curses. Read.
Verse 29.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness.
A blind person has to move around checking for safety every little bit. He said that's how you're gonna move around in life, right? This is how we move around in life, right? Read on.
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
And none of that safety checking, nothing that you're gonna do is gonna cause y'all to prosper. Read on.
And thou shalt be only oppressed.
You be what?
Only oppressed.
You hear that, James? It said we're gonna get on slave ships and we only gonna be oppressed. Go ahead.
And spoiled evermore.
Spoiled. Is it talking about spoiled like a kid get all the toys he want?
No.
You think that's what it's talking about? What you think it's talking about?
Like spoiled like mold and bread.
Like mold and bread?
Okay.
Okay. Check this out. When you win a war, right, and you get all the items from the people that you won a war against, what's that called? You know?
Takeover.
The spoils of war.
Yeah.
That's what we are. Everything that we do, we produce is spoils of war for them. Everything that you look around and you see the things that our people created, including Waikiki, was created by a black man, right? We don't prosper from that, like the curse says. But we're spoiled, meaning everybody else prospers from it. Read on.
And no man shall save thee.
That's what it means by no man shall buy you. No man shall save you. No man shall save you. So while we walking around, we can go to work, we can go get a drink if we want. Nobody will save us. And you think right now in 2023, if you got lynched in Hawaii, lynched, old school style, you think anybody would care? Why you say that? But we in Hawaii though. You want to know how I know that's true? Because the brother got lynched in Maui, 2020. Did you hear about that? Nobody cares. You understand? Nobody cares. All these things are used to identify. Now, real quick, James, why did all these things happen?
Because we didn't listen. We didn't follow the commandments.
So what do you think we should be doing at this point?
Following the commandments.
Following the commandments.
Easy.
It's easy. How come nobody's teaching us this?
It's not profitable.
It's not profitable. But this black churches, right? You ever been to a black church? Right, how come in the black church they're not teaching us who we are? Right? They don't connecting the dots easy, like it was easy to connect the dots, and teaching us to keep the commandments.
Because it's not profitable. They're never to get money. Tax-free money.
So it's not profitable, right? So we continue to degrade in our sins and get punished by God so everybody else profit. That's called being spoiled. That's called being spoiled. That's a curse from God. So we should be keeping God's commandments. Let me show you a commandment. Give me Exodus 20 verse 8. I'm gonna show you one more commandment, then I'm out. All right? Unless you got questions. Are you learning anything? All right, it's good stuff, right? Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8.
This is in the 10 commandments.
Remember the Sabbath day.
So out of all the commandments, he says in one of the 10 commandments to remember the Sabbath day. You know when the Sabbath day is?
Supposedly it's Sunday.
Supposedly it's Sunday. Who told you that?
That's just what my grandma and everybody else did.
That's what your grandma,
Supposedly
she
Sunday.
went to the black church,
Yeah.
but they're not teaching us commandments there, right?
No.
So we can guarantee it's not on Sunday,
Correct.
right? Read it. It's going to tell you when it is.
Remember the Sabbath day
Mhm.
to keep it holy.
So we got to keep this day holy. Holy means set apart. So this day is not going to be like any other day, right? Go ahead.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So You got 6 days to labor and do all your work. Go ahead.
But the seventh day,
Which day?
but the seventh day
Uh-huh.
is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
James, what's the 7th day? Ah, tricked you already. What's the 7th day? What's the first day of the week?
Monday.
You work too much, bro. You work too much. Monday is not the first day of the week.
No? Okay, I don't know that.
Sunday is the first day of the week. You look on any
okay.
calendar, that's the first day of the week. You talking about the work week? We slaves, man. We work too much. We work too much. Sunday is the
Saturday
first
is
day.
the 7th day.
Saturday is the 7th day of the week. So what day we supposed to be keeping holy?
Saturday.
Saturday. We keep that day holy?
No.
Ah, they got a festival coming out here tomorrow, right? Black people gonna be there. The Israelites gonna be there. You think they gonna be keeping the Sabbath day holy? Nah, not at all. So if we not keeping all God's laws, statutes, and commandments, what's gonna continue to happen to us?
We're gonna keep dealing with oppression and stuff that we have.
Yup. That's why when you look on TV, you get confused. Like, why is this still happening? Maybe it's the system. It's God. It's God saying, you don't listen to me. So I'm going to just let whatever happen to you. That's what's happening. So James, you got an opportunity now. Come learn with your people. Give me Zephaniah 2:1. Let me show you what else he said. And in addition, adding to this Exodus 28, the Sabbath day, because something you're supposed to do on the Sabbath day to keep it holy, right? It's not just a regular Monday. It's not Spades night, right? Read what you got.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1.
Listen what God is telling us to do. Watch yourself, man.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
God is telling his people to gather themselves together. And it said nation not desired. We not desired, right? Right? He said as a nation that's not desired, gather yourselves together. But here, and especially in a place like this, we don't like doing that. We like gathering together with everybody else. We like mingling with everybody else. Therefore, we're not keeping that commandment either. You understand? So you got yourself an opportunity, man. You got any questions, James?
No, you just taught me a lot.
All right, cool. What'd you learn?
I learned that Egypt, you're in bondage, why slavery happened, and why it's still being oppressed today.
So what do we as a people need to do to stop that?
And we need to communicate with each other first, and then sit there and keep the Sabbath day holy, and hold the commandments to each other.
There you go.
Keep everybody accountable.
You also got to understand that we the Israelites, right? Negroes is not being seen by God. We're the Israelites.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the